Lions of Penn State are up, and the Nittany Lions to the battle behind the truncheon called Enos. It is Richardson who carries the strong arm that mans the sword. Tommy, the 14th Kickoff Classic, matching the University of Southern California Trojans of the Pac-10 and the Penn State Nittany Lions of the Big Ten. It could be a tremendous amount of fun for everybody, but also a very important college football game that could last the entire season. Pounding into the stadium. The champions of the Outback Bowl last year. They won 9 games. Joe Paterno, of course, is a legend. Joe leads all Division 1A coaches on the toss, and they chose to take the ball in the start of the second half. As we told you, Giant Stadium is sold out. They haven't had a lot of these in the Kickoff Classic, but when you bring in programs with the tradition and quality of these two and the legacy of these two great universities, you get this kind of a crowd, and it's really fun to see. Conway is the kicker, and the deep people are Chris Miller and Dalen McCutcheon for Southern California. And the 14th Kickoff Classic is underway. High hanger deep into the end zone. McCutcheon will down it, and USC will go to work out on the 28-yard line. Is the man. His record as a starter reflected there, and you can see 20 touchdowns against only 4 interceptions. He is Vernon and Marvin Powell lined up in the backfield. And they're double wide to the right. They throw on the first play, comes outside, and it's off the hands of Chris Miller. So there were a bunch of trees. Otten now goes into a shotgun. He's 6'6" himself. It is 3rd down and a long 5. Pressure's coming, steps away from it, throws down the middle, has his first down, completing the pass to Mike Bastianelli, number 25. They've got to go up to, well, they need about 5 yards on 3rd down after the penalty. Got away from it, passes away, passes incomplete, intended for Bastianelli, and it was a good defensive play by Kim Harry. This much now as they hunker down for the first snap of the '96 season. Wally Richardson, the veteran quarterback, they'll run it with Curtis Enos, number 35, and he is a hammer. Brought down by Pearsall and Kelly. He picks up about 5 yards on the play. Wally Richardson's career as a starter, he is out of Sumter, South Carolina, and his ratio of touchdowns to, and he can hold it. You're right. Richardson back, his first pass. That's a lateral behind the line of scrimmage, but it works well as it. Enos, who turns on the power coming up the sidelines, and he pounds it a flag. The ball came out of there, I think, on the snap, and you've got penalty flags, and you've got Penn State claiming possession. They do have possession, but what about the flag? It's against SC. They'll pick up the flag, and it'll belong to Penn State. The Trojans turn it over. Jason Slode, the fullback. Enos gets the ball, comes over the right side, goes down to about the 7. Got buried under that pile.
That single coverage out on the corners.
Richardson looking at it. It's incomplete. 3 Trojans actually had their hands on the ball intended for the tight end. This one will come from the 28 yards away from the goal post. On the 18-yard line, plus 10, a lot of leg on it, and it's good. And so finally, somebody scores. Penn State takes the lead at 7:12 to play in the first half of the 14th Kickoff Classic. 3rd and 11. He has time. He lets it go. He's got Chris Miller. He's got the ball. And all the way down to the 21-yard line. Lost his balance. Couldn't stay inside. And finally, Chuck Penzenik was able to shove him out of there. Must be touching the 10. Yes, it would. Pounding down the middle to about the 5. 2nd down from the 6. Woods up the middle. Well, Woods is still the deep back. That's Miller in motion. Martin rolls, looks to throw. Throws back in the end zone. It is incomplete. He threw it high. He'd have been better off. He might have scored if he'd just tucked it down and took off.
Motion was to their left. They knew something was coming. There's Miller, number 2. Too high.
Well, Allred was the only guy that had a chance.
Yeah. See, the reason he threw it
hard penalty. Hold is good by Wren. The kick is up, and he missed it. For you at halftime today on Valvoline Halftime 96. And this is Curtis Enos. To go in the first half. Penn State leading 3-0. First down for the Lions just outside the 30-yard line. Wally Richardson, time to throw, does to the sidelines. Pass is caught by Aaron Harris out of the backfield.
He's going to get the ball.
Juravicius is the white man to the bottom of your picture. They give it inside to Curtis Enos. There's another Penn State first down as he takes it out across midfield. Down call it midfield for the Lions. Broken play. That's been busy. The ball's back on the 48-yard line. Second down and 12. Richardson looking for Juravicius. Goes the other side. Pass good. The 21 Nastasi. Second catch of his career. First down. Penn State at the 29. And there's a penalty flag. Looked like they might tack a face mask onto it. Somebody like that. Enos scores from 24 yards.
There's a look on the right side. Henderson is 69. Nice block by the fullback. Now watch Cook right here. Cook says hello, and he doesn't hold on to it. He's 230 pounds, and he can't hold on to it. Enos is 230. Cook is 190.
So Curtis Enos hammers his way from 24 yards. The conversion by Conway is good, and the Penn State Nittany Lions at 1:57 to play in the first half lead by a score of 10-0. And Enos on 15 carries with 108 yards. Next week, when everybody gets into the act in this 96 football season, we've got a schedule here on ABC next week that will be entertaining if nothing else. But more than that, perhaps there are games being played early on that are going to echo all season long. Let's join Todd Blackledge now for a preview of what we've got scheduled for you next week.
From the first kickoff to the national championship, ABC Sports is your home for college football in 1996. Saturday, August 31st kicks off our regional coverage. In the Big Ten, the Fighting Illini storm into Ann Arbor to battle the Wolverines. Illinois lost 2 linebackers in the first 3 picks of the NFL draft, yet returns their leading tackler and linebacker Dennis Stallings. Carrying the load for the offense will be junior running back Robert Holcomb. Michigan's Lloyd Carr, now the permanent head coach, comes in with a highly touted defense led by defensive end Glenn Steele. 4-0 as a freshman, quarterback Scott Dreisbach, the hero of Michigan's greatest comeback of all time, returns from a thumb injury. Big 12, Cougars versus Buffaloes, an interconference showdown. For Washington State, strong-arm sophomore quarterback Ryan Leaf leads the way. While on the other side of the ball, the Cougars rely heavily on linebacker James Darland. Colorado coach Rick Neuheisel has his Buffaloes primed for a national title run. Quarterback Coy Detmer is healthy and ready to lead this experienced and talented team. Defensively, the Buffs' strength comes from senior Butkus Award candidate Matt Russell. The first step.
And I, Todd Blackledge, who's going to be in the studio crew this year with John Saunders, sharing Saturday afternoons. It's one of those nerve-jangling jobs. It's an itty young guy to handle. Todd, of course, you remember as the quarterback of the great Penn State teams of the early 80s, that national championship bunch had played down in New Orleans in the Sugar Bowl. Your comment quickly on the first half?
Well, pretty much the way you guys said it. I mean, slow offense, sluggish. Both quarterbacks struggled a little bit, but Otten hit the big pass. I expect him to play much
More injuries than they had last year. They were very fortunate until the end of the year.
Yeah, I don't know if they can get all the way back to Pasadena, but the one thing about it, they didn't do it with mirrors. They were a solid team. They played great defense, led the nation in scoring defense, second in the nation in turnover ratio, and they never beat themselves. And that's a lot in tribute to Gary Barnett.
And I like that Gary Barnett stayed there also. What about surprise teams? You got any teams up your sleeve that you like, one or two?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think Notre Dame is going to be an interesting team to watch this year. They're kind of on the outside looking in a little bit right now. If Ron Pollitt stays healthy and plays well, I think Lou Holtz has a good football team. And then there's a couple other teams. Syracuse has an exciting kid in Donovan McNabb. Virginia Tech is a good football team. And Texas has about as good a skill players as anybody in the country.
Mud holes between here and there, I'll tell you. Our score is 10-0 Penn State. We'll be back with the report from Utah, Provo, in a moment. Ooh-wee. Let's join Brett Musburger for a summary of what happened out yonder in the mountains.
Well, Keith, we had a ton of scoring yesterday and a remarkable quarterbacking performance by Steve Sarkisian of BYU. 33 of 44 for 536 yards, Dick Vermeil, and 6 touchdowns. Now, what about the BYU passing attack as we take a look at one of his 6 touchdowns?
Well, everybody that plays here plays successfully throwing the football. They come here to throw the football. And the system is here. It's ingrained. The minute you step in the program, you start learning to throw the ball like that. But you don't come here unless you want to throw the ball like that.
Well, after his remarkable performance, Jack Arute spoke with the BYU quarterback.
Well, Steve, it looked like they couldn't adjust to your long balls.
I don't know about that. I think A&M plays a very aggressive style defense. Our offensive line did a terrific job against the front 7. That's probably one of the best in the country. And that enables you to go deep. It gives you time to throw the deep ball, and I think that's what happened today.
What about all of the play and the pregame hype about Brandon Stewart? Did you come in thinking, hey, I'm going to let people know who I am?
No, I think I went through the same situation Brandon Stewart went through last year. It's a lot of pressure. He played a terrific game today. I got to give all the credit in the world to the O-line, though. They did an unbelievable job against those guys today.
How good is this BYU team?
We're very good, and I've said it all camp long. We're strides ahead of better where we were last year. I think we've got a great core of athletes, and we're a unit this year. We're all united, and we're playing very hard.
Well, Dick, what does this mean? Are we going to have a ton of offense? Certainly from the passing game this year?
I believe so. I think the trend is moving that way. The coach's philosophy is becoming more aggressive. More balls will be thrown than last year, and that was a record. We'll have more yards and probably more points.
All right. Keith, sounds like a lot of excitement this season. 41-37 the final. BYU the winner.
That was some show. This is Harris with the ball, and he got outside. He got outside and turned it on, and the man who made it work for everybody once he got outside was Chris Campbell, the flanker, and it's first down for the Nittany Lions. Down just short of the 20-yard line. Here comes Enos the other way, and he's still pounding, and he's got it on the first down. First and goal at about the 8-yard line, and he's going to break their back. Fourth quarter, USC is at 3rd down and 4. On their own 27-yard line. Sermons and Woods are both in the backfield. Pass is away down the middle, and the pass is incomplete. Pass was thrown into traffic, intended for John Allred, the tight end.
Filardi did a nice job, too, right there with him.
Curtis Enos, and running loose. There's his speed. Boy, I tell you what, if I'm going to go down into my book and come up with 18-wheeler. I mean, he is a thoroughbred something, isn't he?
Well, we said something about this guy early. Ostrowski gets a good block and he breaks a tackle. But we featured this guy in the opening, and he is something special. He's been a man among boys today as Kelly finally gets over to knock him out.
And it's first down for Penn State at the Southern California 27-yard line. Aaron Harris and Chaffee Fields are in the backfield right now. And this is Fields. Now Harris. And he's got a pretty good gain out of it. Enos with 225 yards. in the game today.
Here's a match for the day. Running tough and not giving up. Tough run. Now I can see why Fran Ganner was high on this young man. Look at him. Look at him. Just not giving up.
15 carries, 71 yards. Been since the injury. First and goal from the 10. And this is touchdown Enos.
Number 8 is going to miss the tackle right there. Just too much speed and power to get around the end.
Conway for the extra point. Good. There have been a lot of great backs have big days in this ball game. A year ago, it was Eddie George who had a big game as Ohio State won going away. But nobody has ever had a bigger game than this fellow, Curtis Innis. Just under the towel. He's earned the respite. He has gained 234 yards today on 25 carries and scored twice. No other running back ever has done that against Southern California. Russell White, fed by Kim Herring. Brings it back to about the 23-yard line. Penalty flag on the field.
Can't see who it is, but somebody with a good rush. It looked like Schneider, 91, knocks him off balance, and Herring, who is an outstanding athlete back there at free safety. He picked off 4 passes last year. There's the block in the back right there. Herring ran 1 back for a touchdown last year, so get as much as you can and get down.
Enos behind the line of scrimmage, ducks away from the attack and turns it back upfield and picks up 3 yards. Here comes the blitz, picked up. Aquarius passes away. He's got a man down there. It is complete. A penalty flag is thrown. It's Joe Juravicius beating Ken Heslett. So McQuarrie, who took a lick.
It's good, some good playing time for McQuarrie, though.
Yep. Enos.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah, Lenny.
Well, that's the kind of player. Receiver always come back in the huddle. He's begging for the quarterback to throw it to him.
Yeah.
He's been doing that all day long.
I know.
Enos is back in the lineup. McQuarrie gives it to him. Here he comes around the corner. Touchdown.
Take a look from behind the defense. Papadakis is 35. Enos just says, I'm just going to beat you to the sideline. Cusano doesn't get there in time. Power and speed.
Conway's kick is good. Now the Nittany Lions. They have locked it up at 24-0. So the final seconds will tick off at Giant Stadium, and the 14th Kickoff Classic has been won by Penn State, making their 3rd appearance, defeating Southern California by a score of 24-7. The Chevy most valuable players of the game, genuine Chevrolet most valuable players, Matt Kennelly, Southern California, and Curtis Enos of Penn State. McKinley had 12 tackles for the Trojans. Enos 241 yards and 3 touchdowns.
We would be quick because we really haven't worked that hard because of a kind of a different preseason we had. The pace of the game was just ideal for us because we didn't have to play a lot of the younger kids on defense early in the games, which really helped us because we were going to have to play a lot of young kids. And if Southern Cal had kept the ball for long periods, we would have had our hands full. But it worked out fine. They didn't catch the ball as well as they will in the whole bit. But kids played hard, played tough, and obviously I'm very pleased.
You said you were coming back in the second half. Curtis Enos was running tremendously well for you, but you wanted to work on throwing the football.
Well, I felt, we got young wideouts, and they got to learn how to play football. And Curtis is an outstanding back and had a great day. And we know what he can do, but we want to win, obviously, but we also want to make sure we're getting a little bit better for the rest of the year.
Your thoughts? You brought in your backup quarterback fairly early to get some quality time for the rest of the season?
Wally was having trouble with a groin pull, and he said, I'd rather not go because we kept aggravating it. And I figured we have a lot of confidence in McQuarrie. He's been around a long time, and he's a good leader, and he does well when he gets in there. So I didn't want to aggravate Wally's injury.
I mean, you come away with a win. Everybody looks good. But what are the things you think you need to work on after this ball game?
Well, I said, they bounced our wideouts around. We really didn't have a real smooth passing game. Curtis got us out of the jam almost by himself and a couple of big long runs. We got to get a lot more cohesive. We got to do a lot of things a lot better. But we got 2 weeks to get ready, and I think we will be better.
It seemed physically you were just on top of this game.
Well, we were ready to play. There was no question about that.
Coach, thank you very much. Keith?
You want to talk to Curtis? Yeah.
All right, Swanee, thanks very much. And we'll talk to this big fella. Soon as we're...
Curtis, congratulations. 27 carries, 241 yards. I told you that. It was the first time you smiled.
I was very happy with where my linemen came out. They had their backs up against the wall the entire preseason, and there was a lot of questions since we lost a lot of good people. And they just came out and gave me a lot of good seams to run in, and I just want to dedicate that plaque to them because without them, I wouldn't have been able to do the things I was capable of doing today.
When I talked to you Saturday, you seemed confident. You wanted to show Joe Paterno and this team that you were ready to take on the responsibilities of their #1 tailback.
Yes, sir. I just want to come out and just play hard the way I've always played football. I love football with all my heart, and when I come out here and play, it's being out here and just enjoying yourself regardless of the situations. I just like to have fun and be around 10 other guys who feel the same way I do. And today, we just gelled together and just came together as a team.
They get tougher. That came late in the ball game. But he spared no energy. He certainly didn't tiptoe all day.
And the thing I like about him, Keith,
yeah, he could be something special.
Ball's huddled masses to the open arms of the Western Athletic Conference. 6 new teams bring the total to 16, the largest conference in sports. Just how big is the WAC? Try 9 states, 5 time zones, 15 area codes, over 1 million square miles. 140,882 frequent flyer miles will be racked up by WAC teams this season. The longest possible road trip, Hawaii versus Rice, 3,909 miles. Honolulu is closer to Hong Kong than Houston. With large public schools, small private schools, a service academy, Mormons, Methodists, Texas Christians, and Vegas, the WAC makes for a diverse cocktail. But is bigger really better? Encompassing as many oceans as top 25 teams, one, has the WAC increased its quantity at the expense of credibility?
See, at BYU, they win in 2 weeks at Washington. Look out.
Irvin flared out of the backfield. Schultz trying to go to his tight end, incomplete. Josh Kerr got one hand on it, but not two.
that's one that Todd Schultz would like to have back again. You got to